Welcome, Baselode Forum and soon to be Geiger shareholders. My name is Stephen Stewart. I'm the chair of Baselode and very proud to be the new chair of Geiger Energy. I'm joined by somebody who follows Baselode, will know very well, of course, is James Sykes, and new to the family, if you will, of course, is Rebecca Hunter, who is the CEO of Forum. And the new CEO of Geiger Energy when that closes. We just announced this new transaction, which I think is a wonderful business combination. It's the right time, the right set of assets, the right cash. We're going to be drilling soon. We've got a new refreshed brand with Geiger, new refreshed board, led by Rebecca and of course supported by James. So welcome, Rebecca and James.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, Steve.
So look, I'm going to guide the conversation, but everybody wants to hear from both of you. I think a lot of questions in any transaction like this. There's always new questions: the who, what, why, and where. And from my perspective, again, it was about opportunity, growing in scale, growing in diversity. But fundamentally, it started because James recommended that I sit down with the folks from Forum, and that began a number of months ago. And he said, there's this asset called Aberdeen, and it has, I hate to use the cliche, tier one or world class, but look, this has real deal potential there. And that got my attention, and that's what started the conversations and so on and so forth. So Rebecca, why don't we start with you, since you're new to the Org Group family here. Tell us about Aberdeen, your vision, your plan, and then maybe afterwards we'll talk about the operational execution strategy for Aberdeen in the near term.
Yeah, so I guess I've been working in the Aberdeen area for a long time. So I basically started this kind of journey in the Thelon back in 2006 when I joined Cameco. And so basically it's a very new geo, it is a new district. It was on the radar of Cameco back in the day, and basically I got to run it very early stage, basically just starting out of my grad school, thrown up there, try to find us some uranium. So big property. And I recognized very early on that it's a complete analog to the Athabasca Basin. There's just no exploration. Even the exploration that's been done in the past has been done in real kind of fits and starts, and then dead for years, even with good results. Just kind of market-driven downturns. You get in and then you're gone. And so I recognized that in the old work that was done. We get up there. And we could just see the potential up there. We use gravity as one of our main primary kind of geophysical methods that basically help us, basically as a proxy for alteration, and unconforming deposits have alteration associated with them. So it's a really good way to kind of target, and it's just covered in the right structural corridors and full of these anomalies. And then when we did get drilling them, we made 2 discoveries just right off the hop within basically 4 years, basically boots on the ground, second-year drill program, we're hitting mineralization. And I think that really speaks to the potential up there. And that's, and then having Baselode come in, and James in particular, just recognizing that extreme opportunity, I just think is really encouraging. And I think we can do a lot of good work up there.
So James, and look, it all, from Baselode's perspective, it all starts with you. As I said, you got my attention. You and I bird dog lots of projects of all shapes and sizes and flavors in all 4 corners of the earth. And you, I got to say, you say no to most things, but you said yes to this emphatically. And I watched your video that you put out just a couple of days ago, the day that we announced, and you called it hook on steroids, not to compare and contrast, because every project is a little bit different. But you really like this project. So tell us how you see Aberdeen.
I do see Aberdeen as one of the best, if not the best, underexplored uranium project in the world. The potential up there is quite lucrative for not just the discovery, but scale. The whole jurisdiction is possible to be up there. It's like looking at Cameco's predecessors back in the 60s and 70s and creating that scale within certain areas. We've got that opportunity in front of us, and I think that's the motivation and the drive behind what we really saw. This was it was a brainchild of the baseload board. Cameron putting a lot of his work into identifying all of the companies out there and which projects look really good. And Forum and Aberdeen just kept ticking a lot of boxes for us. There's a lot of synergies between what we do and what Forum already does too, and you can even see that in the At the Basket projects that we're always, both companies are looking for these near surface open pitable style of deposits because we see the margin potential there. And specifically Aberdeen just really highlights all of that potential. As Rebecca said, they made 2 discoveries right off the hop. Looking at Aberdeen from a numerical standpoint, like even ignoring all the geology, it's a numbers game, and the numbers make sense. It's incredible the amount of potential out there. So when Cameron and I first started looking at some of the geophysics and other images that were available on Forum's websites, we saw a lot of interesting areas that just hadn't been drilled. So as part of the deal going forward and part of this merger and doing a little bit more due diligence on our end, we started uncovering a little bit more, and just the potential for discovery is real. And some of these targets that Forum have highlighted and we've highlighted on our end are they can't be ignored from a uranium exploration standpoint. They have to be drilled. So with our combined strategy, we're hoping to really hit these things hard and fast and make that discovery as quick as possible.
Okay, good stuff. I agree. Again, that's to me, it's just all about the opportunity, and the opportunity from a corporate. I'll put my hat on for a second. Really, it was about 2 companies, both coming at off their, I think, all-time lows, really, and that's not unique necessarily in the uranium space. We had a tough 2024 and beginning of 25. It looks like things are turning around. We've had a lot of action, proverbial action in the uranium space over the last 30 days or so. So it's great to have some momentum. But for us, I think it was great to have a refresh, right? I think both companies needed a kick in the butt. We had cash is always king. We also had a wonderful portfolio of assets. And we're going to talk about Hook because we really, really like Hook. We are not walking away from Hook. We are being opportunistic in the sense that right now Aberdeen is the better risk reward for us. It also allows us to deploy our capital onto a project that needs capital now, right? So let's shift into needing capital, the exploration window for Aberdeen. The fact that Rebecca and her team have been anticipating this deal and hence laying the groundwork. So we're hitting the ground running. So Rebecca, talk about the plan. Like, what's going on the ground? When do those drills start spinning? What's the plan for 2025 on Aberdeen?
Yeah, so exactly. We were anticipating this deal and really, hoping for it to go forward. And so we basically, in the background, have hauled all our consumables, and we have our fuel at site. And so right now, as of tomorrow, we will be opening our camp. And it'll take about a week basically to just get it all in order. And then we're hoping to be drilling, basically eminently after that. So hopefully by, another week after we open camp. So, and we have the 2 targets we'd like to get to right off the hop is Loki and Bjorn. And I guess we can show a map of that later. And the one drill is actually at Loki. And so it'd just be basically starting up a drill and start turning on that really prospective target and then moving on and moving the other drill over to B1. And so we're ready to go. And so we should start having results later in July.
Rebecca, can you explain what you see in Loki? What makes it so lucrative to go back to?
So Loki was our last hole of last year, and I got to it with a couple holes back in the chemical days. And what's lucrative is we have two types of targets on our property. So we have the ones that are covered by sandstone, all pretty much shallow sandstone, so under 200 meters of sandstone, and the rest, Tadagak and Kavik, of course, are basement hosted, and we have lots of basement hosted targets as well. What's really interesting and exciting about Loki is that we're not even drilling in the heart of that particular gravity anomaly, and we have extreme clay alteration of the sandstone column, extreme bleaching. So these are things that we really look for over on conformity deposits, as well as up to 30 times the background in uranium values and the elevated rest of the pathfinders like boron. So extremely enriched. Something's going on. Definitely the fluids are there, and we're not even in the heart of testing that gravity epicenter yet.
Yeah, that's my impression too, is you've tagged something very proximal. You're seeing an outer halo, and where we could be meters away from seeing anything significant. Do you think maybe historic drilling might have overshot or undershot any potential targets in there?
So when I first drilled that target, I drilled it before gravity. So it was more testing the structures, because it has some very interesting structures, and it has, I think it has a resistivity anomaly associated with it, or close by. It was close to one other hole. And so the other two holes were actually just slightly outside and actually drilling away from the gravity anomaly. And they still were interesting. So they still had, the bleaching, not to the extent that we drilled last summer, but just basically the kind of interesting building blocks that you look at and you're like, something's in the area, but you're not quite there yet.
So clearly we're in a big system. I mean, I think that's clear. I mean, our neighbor is Orano, right? Don't they have over 100 million pound deposit right next door? We're adjacent to them. They've done work there. I mean, when you're talking about these things, you need scale. So obviously you got big structure. Our neighbor has a head start. Obviously we want to find something that stands on our own, but it doesn't hurt to have the 5th largest uranium deposit as our neighbor, does it?
No.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's a big thing to have Orano right there. Like our Tadagak zone is basically 5 kilometers from their largest deposit, which is Andrew Lake. And yeah, it's a potential little hub of many deposits. Definitely the signs are all there.
And the deposits are shallow enough that they're open pittable.
Yeah.
And that helps create this jurisdiction. It helps create the area that could become the next Athabasca.
Yeah.
Good. And so we've got 50 targets. I know Rebecca tells me we got 50 targets, which I guess are overlays of gravity. I don't think we're getting all 50. All we need is one. But you and your team and James and Cam have also vetted that there's a whole series of targets, I guess, created by gravity and overlain by other geophysics, et cetera, that are just ripe. And you guys know what to look for. We're going to go up there and start testing the first 2 right off the bat. But I think, as the news release said, you've got about 10. You've triaged 10 that you're going to target this year. Hopefully we hit it. It's the exploration business. You never know. But there's plenty of ripe targets, it looks like.
Yeah. So we basically, like you said, triage kind of the 10 to 12 kind of best areas and some of these have been drilled, have a couple of holes in the area, but most haven't been drilled at all. But again, strong gravity anomalies along the right structural corridors. And then sometimes they have historical holes that have just that inkling of geochemical or actual visual evidence that you've got the system moving in that area.
Okay, well, look, we won't go too far into the technical. I want you guys, I'm sure we'll do that in due course. Rebecca's got lots to focus on in the days ahead with rolling on this drill program. Let's talk a little bit about James and Hook. Again, I think Hook is critical. We love the assets. James has been talking about them, very excited. We're going to get to Hook everybody, Baselode and Geiger, I should say Geiger shareholders. It's a great project. It needs attention. We've got the claims in good standing for a long, long time, which is important, which gives us the flexibility. I think Baselode has been well capitalized ever since its inception. We've invested a lot of time and energy on Hook. It's not going anywhere. It's just a matter of prioritizing, triaging our capital and allocating capital effectively so that Geiger has a big, deep portfolio. And then I guess like Hook. So like, what's your view on Hook, James? Just to update everybody briefly on the potential you see on Hook.
Yeah, the Hook potential is real again, just like Aberdeen. What we've identified is a large alteration system. It's about 100 meters wide, and we've traced it down 200 meters on down dip. It's still open at depth, but now that we've got all the chemistry back, a lot of all of the fingerprints that I've used throughout my career as pathfinders, they all light up in this area just through the roof. And what really built up a little bit more support behind the clay alteration area that we see on Hook was looking at the Aberdeen geochemistry and noting that the same 6 pathfinders that we use are showing up where all of the high-grade uranium has been intersected on Aberdeen. So it really re-emphasizes the potential that exists at Hook that I've said it before that I think we're onto a high-grade uranium system there, and just this re-emphasizes that idea. It will take more drilling. We have to drill at depth and drill on strike. And I guess that was kind of one of the reasons that this Aberdeen does look much more lucrative, is that we can drill more meters, and I think we can make a quicker success at Aberdeen than at Hook, just because Hook's going to be deeper. We know that. We have to drill deeper. Don't know how deep we have to go. But we think the quickest bang for the buck, and following up on that Athabasca 2.0 strategy, looking for that open pit style deposit is key at Aberdeen. Hook's an all-year thing. We can access Hook 365 days a year. Aberdeen's a little bit more limited to half the year, 3 months, maybe even 4 months. So it was a right choice and right decision to put our focal point and our exploration dollars onto Aberdeen and just let Hook rest for a bit. It's not, as you said, it's in good standing. It's not going anywhere. We're at no risk of losing anything on that project. We can deploy capital as we see fit to Aberdeen and come back to Hook in the wintertime.
Good stuff. Well, look, well said, James, and also same, Rebecca, very well said. So just to sum up here, the new company, it's called Geiger Energy. It's going to be traded under the symbol BEEP, which I got to tip my hat to Rebecca for the creative ticker symbol. It's hard to forget, especially when you're called Geiger. It's going to be closed after we get shareholder approval. So that's, in the pipe works. But we're getting started right away. So effectively, Baselode is funding this work to drill program on Geiger, which is starting, as Rebecca said, eminently. We've got a robust drill program out there. We're going to pivot back to Hook when the time is right for it. It's not going anywhere. Anything else I've missed, or did I just about cover it?
Just about cover it, but I want to make sure that Baselode shareholders understand that Geiger's in good hands with Rebecca. If the shareholders could have seen what we've seen from Rebecca's passion and fight to make this deal happen, we know it's in good hands. So yeah, please, Baselode shareholders, give a lot of respect to Rebecca as we do on the board and what we believe she will be able to accomplish.
Yeah, so far so good, Rebecca. It's been a pleasure working with you. We absolutely vetted the project. James and Cam worked with you and said, thumbs up, you're the Thelon guru. So I'm very pleased to be working with you. We're going to live or die by the success of the drill bit. But look, we take calculated risks as explorationists. This is a calculated risk. I think we're in good standing. We keep our fingers crossed, and focused on execution. And if there's any further questions, we'll flash the contacts for all of us up here. Feel free to reach out to us. Lots of news flow, lots of action, more videos to come, and we're happy to answer any questions that anybody has. So James, Rebecca, thank you so much and good luck.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thank you.